Intro. While reading Part 4, Business, an Agent for Shalom, in the text Business Through the Eyes of Faith, a section had to be chosen to elaborate on in an essay. As I was reading the section within Part 4, Justice and the World's Wealth, it didn't really hit home until I started reading the questions for reflection at the end of the section referring to playing Monopoly. Here are the questions. What are some of the changes in the rules that would make the game more just? Question 2. Would the game be fun and would people play if wealth were distributed equally? Why and why not? Question 3. Why do those who are winning play with more enthusiasm than those who are losing? After reading these 3 questions, it allowed me to dive deeper into the point that the text was trying to accomplish, explaining the ins and outs of wealth, God's intentions for it, how it is good and evil. What did I learn about business from a Christian perspective? In the game of life, it is hard as a Christian business owner to play by the rules if there is supposed to be a winner and a loser in a game. As a Christian business owner, one is not supposed to be greedy, as greed makes people forget the needs of others. Christ warns his followers, "Watch out, be on your guard against all kinds of greed. A man's life does not consist in abundance of his possessions." Luke 12:15. It also states in this section that one may have prosperous times within their company with hard work, accumulating wealth as a byproduct for our own efforts. We are required to give generously to the needy in our own backyards and around the globe. What did you learn about the use of power and influence in an organizational setting? As stated in this section, oftentimes money is tied with power. When one makes an abundant amount of money, they feel powerful. Sometimes that power can go to someone's head and make them pompous towards their employees, ultimately leaving the office morale low. In turn, productivity suffers. However, one can still make copious amounts of money and still be humble. Look at Oprah, for instance. The richest woman in the world just so happens to be one of the most giving people in the world, also but leaves enough to still keep her afloat. The question lies, is she not giving enough because she's the richest female? We cannot judge. That only God can. Only God knows. What did you learn about the impact ethical and moral decision making has on an organizational dynamics, culture, performance, and management? This question really has a double-edged sword, so to speak. It really depends on if the organization has employees that are of faith or not. So we will attempt to give both viewpoints. If the employee is of faith and the company is prosperous but doesn't share its prosperity with anyone but itself, that employee will be unhappy with the organization and probably seek employment somewhere else. If the employee is not of faith and the same scenario occurs, that employee would probably pay no mind either way. How can you apply what you learn to your role and or future role as a working professional? As an aspiring future prosperous business owner and one that would like to do God's work helping others without putting myself in a situation where I myself become hard pressed, I would apply what I learned by not taking my prosperity and turning it into greed. I am currently going to school for business and would like to continue attending school to go for my civil engineering degree, in hopes of running my own business, designing parts for other companies, doing God's work in that way.